Hi, welcome back to Pilates for Dancers. My name is Michelle, and in this class, I'm going to focus on arabesque and back extension, things to get extension, but also to have the strength to hold it. So let's get started. For this class, I'm using a THERABAND. I'm using a red. It's a fairly light resistance. I know that if you go heavier, then that's totally fine, but I really like to use a red because it allows me to have flexibility of strength in the different exercises I will use it for. So the first thing we're going to do is just roll our shoulders down and back. I want you to think about your feet being hip width apart, and I just want you to rock back and forth on your heels here, and we're just going to kind of line up the body so it is nice and level. So from the feet up, we're going to go finding that middle place in your heels. Your knees are just a little bit soft, your hips are over your knees, you're drawn in through the core, belly button to spine, a little bit of pelvic floor action, ribs are over the pelvis, shoulders are in a neutral position. We're going to take the band and we're just going to take some breaths here. So I just have a little bit wider than hip width here. So take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, we're just going to press against the legs, squeezing back. A little bit of tricep engagement, a little bit of core engagement. Inhale, release, and exhale, pressing back. Now I'm going to just turn to the side so you can see how much I'm pressing back. It's not a lot. Just a little bit to kind of wake up through the arms and through the body. And a couple more here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Make sure that you're not popping your ribs out. You're staying in a neutral position. Okay, and now we're just going to begin some arm raises up. So bringing the band all the way overhead. Take a deep breath in, stretch long. And exhale down. Just with this little bit of added tension from the band, you'll start to feel your body warm up. If you want more, then you can choke up, and if you need a little bit less, then release. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Reaching up tall, tall, tall. You don't need to arch, but I want your focus to be up towards the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. And down. Okay, next time we're going to come up. Inhale. Exhale. Over to the side. Think about being between two panes of glass here. You're not rounding forward or rounding back. You're just getting a nice side stretch. Now I want you to take this arm that's closer to the floor and squeeze it down. Inhale here. Exhale up and over to the side. Inhale and exhale. Left arm comes down and back. Inhale and exhale up. Same thing, just a little bit more fluid. Over to the side. Arm comes down. Arm comes back. And grow tall as you come up. This is working through the sides of the body. And as we exhale, as we come back to center, you can start to warm and feel really some work through the sides of the body, the sides of the core here. That's what I want you to really think about working. You're getting a lovely stretch, of course, but you're also warming up. Nice and tall, over to the side, and release, up. One more each side. And over. And of course, if you have more range of motion here, go for it. But try and just keep that good alignment like you're between two walls there. Okay? And now we're just going to, if you need to loosen the band a little bit, make it a little bit longer, you can go ahead and do that. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to go all the way back, all the way over, all the way up. This feels so good. Okay, next time you come up to the top, we're just going to start a roll down, so I'll come to the side so you can see. You can bring your band a little bit closer together if you need. Take a deep breath in, and curling forward, head to chest, one vertebrae at a time, bone by bone. That's what I want you to visualize, coming all the way down, keeping some tension in the band still. All the way down, releasing. Inhale and exhale, rolling up, curling from the pelvis, lower back, upper back, shoulders, head, and up. Movements like this really reset the body and kind of just get you ready for class, but also just help you release any areas of tension that you're holding that maybe you didn't even know about. If you need to, your knees can be bent, of course. Pelvis, lower back, upper back, shoulders, head, and arms. Come up. One more time, inhale. And exhale, curling down. Abs are engaged. And rolling up. Good, and let's go ahead and move to the floor. Okay, so now that we're on the floor, I just want you to take your band and we're gonna wrap it around the feet. Keeping the legs about as wide as the mat. What I want you to do is first kind of pull the tension so that you're kind of a slight arch here. We're facing up towards the ceiling, and then we're again just rolling down from the head. As you roll down, the elbows can come to the side just to have that slack taken care of, and you're gonna pull forward. And then you're gonna roll back up from the pelvis, bone by bone, all the way up into that small little, just kind of hinge, slight arch back. Rounding, rounding, rounding. And if you feel warm enough, of course, you can stretch down lower and come back up. Okay, this next one, we're gonna add one more motion with this. So inhale here. Exhale, rolling down, one vertebrae at a time. Elbows come out to the side, nice and wide. Down. Good, rolling up. When you get back up to the top and you're nice and straight through the spine, you're going to add a row. Let's do 3 of these, and then we'll progressively add that back into what we were just doing. So inhale, exhale, rolling down. Elbows wide. Inhale, exhale, rolling back up. Coming up to the nice straight spine, right, sitting up nice and tall on the sits bones, and 3 rows. 3 and 2 and 1. Good, now we will continue the rows, but we're gonna alternate. So I'm going to pull back, straight back, elbow facing towards the back of my mat. Okay, I want you to think about keeping your sits bones even. So even if you decide that you want to add a little twist and kind of look back behind you, that's totally fine. But I want you to think about your sits bones staying even. The weight is even. Good, sitting up nice and tall. Two more on each side. One on each side, and here. Good. So just a little bit of a gentle warm up here with this band. I love adding resistance bands because they just, I don't know, they just make you feel so good. I think it's such a lovely tool to add to any mat. Okay, so now my feet are about hip width distance apart. I'm going to choke up on the mat a little bit, and we're going to begin to roll down. Same feeling. Feet are flexed, energy shooting out through the heels, one vertebrae at a time. The more that you're kind of choked up on the band, the more help you're going to get. The less you're choked up, the more you're going to be using yourself. So rolling all the way down. Inhale here. Exhale and rolling head, shoulders through the core. Engaging that pelvic floor in the area where it's hardest will help you. And sitting up nice and tall. And rolling down. So we're not doing a complete roll all the way up. We're just coming right on top of our sit bones when we come up. And rolling up. Pelvic floor squeezes there. Abs are engaged and sit up nice and tall. Hollowing out. And exhale up. Good. The next time that you come down, I want you to stay down, And we're just going to curl up just slightly. But before we do that, go ahead and bend the knees just slightly also. Everything is just a real slight movement in this exercise. So slight bend in the knees. We're going to curl up through the head and the shoulders. And I want you to get to that place almost like, you know, when you're about to sit up and you're like, ugh, that's the place we want to work. So it's that really hard, difficult place. And we're just going to do some little pulses. My gaze is just at my knees here. 5 more. 2 and 1. Stay up. We're going to come over to the side now and just 4 on each side. So 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Come back over to the left side now for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good job. Rolling all the way up. We're going to continue to use the band, but I'm going to move into a bridge now. So laying down on your back, knees are hip width apart. I'm going to use the band not necessarily to press against my legs, but as a little barometer here for this next exercise. So we're going to take a deep breath in. On your exhale, I want you to peel up through the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Come to your bridge. These arms here are just going to stay here as a stabilizer. We'll use them in just a second. And go ahead and roll back down, bone by bone. Arms are right over the shoulders. I just caught myself, I was not there. When you come up to the top, I want you to imagine somebody in front of you, like holding your thighs away from your midline, away from the center of your body. Doing that will allow you to have some more stretch just through the hip flexors and the quads there. Squeezing up. Good. Just easily and gently warming up through the back here in this bridge exercise, through the back line of muscles, just because we are going to work our back a lot, and so I want to make sure that we are fully warm when we get to those exercises. Okay, this next exercise here, you're going to come all the way up. We're going to hold. I want you to think about keeping equal hips. So using your core, this is going to come into play. So if you feel like your feet are too wide or you need to scoot them in, go ahead so that you have equal pressure on both legs. And we're just going to lift up the right. We're using this band just as a little marker here. Good, 1 more on this side, and then we will switch. Okay, and I did 4, 3. Good. Think about your hips. Are they even? Is your weight evenly distributed? Last 1. Good. Staying up. Reestablish your bridge if you felt like you were sinking down. I was. Then we're just going to alternate. Core is strong. We're going slow because I want you to think about where are you having problems holding that center? Where is one hip dipping down? Good. Here's 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1, 1. Good. Coming into your highest expression of your bridge. Take a deep breath in and rolling all the way down. This time you can bring the arms overhead as you roll down. Good. And just release the band there for a second, and we're just going to windshield wiper back and forth. That should feel really nice. Okay, the next exercise I want to do is just going to start to open up the upper back, which we will work as well very soon. Okay, so roll on up. I'm just going to roll it slightly so it has a bit of a lip to it. Okay, just something like that, something that you can feel, because here's what we're going to do. Just to open up through the back. Now, just go ahead and take this right below the shoulder blades, and we're going to bring the arms right overhead. You can move your band out of the way if you need to. Hands are over the head. Now I want you to take a deep breath in And exhale. Just start to breathe. You might feel some cracking around. I have scoliosis, so I definitely feel extremely uneven here because this is what one of my curves are. But it's a really great way to just open up through the back. And if you feel like you need more mat rolled up, by all means, go ahead and do that. Okay, we're just going to start by alternating the arms here. So one at a time, just tapping the mat by your side. Easy breathing, nothing crazy. I just want to do this because I really feel like when we move into the exercises that we're going to next, this is such an integral part of having this part of your back awake. A lot of times what we do is cheat ourselves by just dumping everything into the lower back because maybe you have a lot of flexibility there, or maybe you have more strength there, and then this upper back is something that can really be helpful, but sometimes we don't engage it or use it or have strength in it. Now we're just going to take some cactus arms. So slowly down out to a little T or cactus, and then back up. Should feel this in the back of your shoulders and your deltoids, your scapula just kind of opening, and they're having like quite a bit of movement in there. Feels really nice. A couple more like this. And one more. Good. Good. Now keeping your arms in that cactus kind of position, I just want you to alternate at a bent elbow. This feels so lovely in the shoulder girdle and through the deltoids in the back. Good. All right, that's a little stretch. Now let's get into more work. Rolling up and unrolling your mat. Taking the band and now wrapping it around the right foot. We're going to come all the way down, and we're going to move into some leg circles here. So what I want you to do is bring your elbows down. So you're going to have a lot of slack inside of this band here, but the elbows will help you keep stable. Your left leg that is on the floor is active. You can point it or flex it, whatever you like. And we're just going to come across the body and out. Circling this way for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you come back up to the top, switch directions. Good. This should feel really nice. Waking up through the leg. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Since we're here, we're just going to choke up on the band a little bit. Bend and straighten. Just a couple times here. Just to kind of get some, sometimes I just feel like your muscles tense up if you try and just yank into something right away. I feel like you have a better stretch when you give it an opportunity to move and have some dynamic stretch. So now we're holding in a static stretch. So take a deep breath in. Exhale. At this point, if you need to go farther, if you can go farther, go farther. Good, and taking both of the bands into your right hand, we're going to come out to the side. Okay, a little variation on this. If you want even more stretch, you can take your left hand and grab the band above your head, and you can use your right hand to push down. Doing your best to still keep that other leg, that hip, down close to the mat as much as you can. It's going to lift a little bit if you're in this position. Good, and bending in. And I'm going to take the band in my left hand and come over to the side. IT band stretch. Lifting this right hip up is totally cool. Good, and coming all the way back to center. Okay, keeping the band here for just a little bit, we're going to move into a little bit of a teaser here. So bring the leg about 45 degrees out. I'm going to take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, you're going to curl up as your leg comes down, and you're going to bring the arms out to the side as you come up to that kind of half teaser. And release. Come all the way down, bring the leg all the way up. We'll do 4 of these in total. So bringing the leg back down, inhale, exhale, rolling up, arms out to the side, and coming back down. Leg comes back up to parallel, and exhale. Good, what was that, 3? I think we got one more. And down, and then curling up. Oh, good, 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 good. All the way back down, one last stretch here, and bring the leg down. Let's do that whole series on the left leg now. So grabbing the band, oh, that feels so nice. Your leg feels so nice and stretched and awake. And we're gonna move into leg circles first, so elbows down on the ground. Deep breath in, and exhale, down and around, and up. Two, and 1. Good, other way. Think about your hip joint moving in the socket. That's what I always try and think about when I'm doing these leg circles, and that it's just really loosening up that synovial fluid and just making a nice juicy stretch in there. Okay, so now we're going to just do a little bit of a stretch here. Bending and straight, plie and extend. And when you're ready, you can just go into that static stretch. Grabbing more on the band wherever you feel like you need to. I kind of like the elbows to stay down. It kind of just grounds me a little bit better, but whatever you need to do is totally fine. Make sure to breathe. Good, and coming over to the left side now, so out in that second stretch. So you can either hold this with your left hand, or you can bring your right arm overhead and use your left hand to pull down. Trying to keep that right hip now down on the ground. If you're lifting, just back it off a little bit. I really like this arm over the head. It might not look the nicest, but because it really gives me a stretch, not only in the leg that I'm stretching out to second, but all the way down on my supporting leg, all the way down to my feet, I can feel it. I don't know about you guys. Good. And bending and coming back over to that IT band stretch. When I'm traveling, I love to bring a band because it's the closest to like reformer training that you can get in a mat, and it also weighs like nothing. So it's such a great little tool. I love working with the THERABAND. Okay, coming back up to center. And we're gonna move into that teaser exercise now. So ground yourself and straighten yourself out if you need to. You're gonna bring the leg down to about a 45, curling through the head, neck, shoulders, all the way up, bending at the elbows when you need to, and coming back down. What did we do on the other side? I think 4. So that was 1. Here's 2. Three. And last one. Good, and coming all the way back down. Nice job. Take the THERABAND off, and let's go ahead and move on. Rolling up. Okay, once again, we're gonna move to just a little bit of arm work here. So we're going to stand up nice and tall on our knees, take a deep breath in, and I want you to do that same press back. But this time, I want you to think about more of work in the tricep. It's not just a pressing to wake yourself up, but we're really pressing back. So I am, if I come from the side here, I am starting a little bit in front of my leg with a little bit of slack, and then I am pressing back. Okay? Exhale, press back, squeezing to the triceps. 3 more. Good. So not only should you feel that in your triceps, you're probably starting to feel that a little bit more in your upper back as well. Okay, we're going to come up, reach up nice and tall, and we're going to pull down like into those cactus arms. So, but I want you to really resist yourself. Almost out of your peripheral vision, I want you to see your elbows working. Inhale nice and tall, and exhale, squeeze down. You provide the extra resistance. I can provide so much resistance that my arms are shaking at this point. So make sure that you're working your own self and you're challenging yourself. Squeezing down. We're using the lats, we're using the arms, we're using everything to kind of just, again, wake up, strengthen through that upper back. Good. 2 more like this. Squeeze. 1 more. Good. Coming back up. Taking a tilt over to the right. Right arm down. Exhale up, squeezing to the side body. Inhale. Exhale over. Arm comes down. Exhale up. 1 more each side like that. Over. Arm comes down. Exhale up. And over. Arm comes down. Exhale up. Good job. Okay, I want you to just do that back and forth again. If you have any like clicking shoulder or anything, like I said, just give yourself some more slack in the band. Oh, it feels so lovely. Such a great exercise for shoulder mobility. Feel like free, like it can fly away. Okay, great. Now, let's move on to the real work part in the back. So, just a couple cat-cows here. I want you to focus on not necessarily like dumping into your lumbar spine, the low back. I want you to think about when you're rounding up, using as much in the thoracic as you can so that upper back is really working. Yes, you're bending in the lumbar spine, but I want you to think about really opening up through the thoracic spine as well. So if you had a flashlight on your chest, you're pointing the flashlight to your belly button. We're really over-exaggerating that upper back. And if you have a flashlight here, you're pressing it up towards the ceiling at this point. A couple more like this. Good, 1 more time. Curling, using the abs, curling in here. And releasing. Arching up really wide through the collarbones. Good. Now go ahead and come all the way down onto your stomach here. We're going to start in a kind of sphinx position here. I want you to just put your hands down on the ground, engage through the abs, your pubic bone is slightly lifted off the mat. I want you to think about, this is going to be one of those exercises where we're kind of moving from side to side, so think about stability through the hips and the pelvis. Reaching the right arm up and out. And left. Obviously, you will have to shift slightly, but I want you to think about keeping a nice distribution of weight between each side. Good. 2 more. Here's 1 and 2. Good. Coming all the way down. You can keep your hands underneath your head just like this and face the ground. I will probably go back and forth just so you can hear what I'm saying. We're going to start with alternating leg lifts. So again, at this point, I want you to think about pressing the pelvis pressing the pubic bone into the mat, and we're going to lift the right. All of these that I'm going to be doing in this next little series here are not necessarily thinking about how high you can get your leg. I want you to think about how much length you can get in your leg. Here's 8 and 7, 6, 5, reaching out 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now, legs are going to stay where they're at, and we're going to lift through the head. 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Coming down. Arms are going to come to your side now. Face is down towards the mat. We're going to engage through the core, lift up slightly. Arms come overhead. Arms come out to an airplane. Arms go down. Come down. lift up, arms overhead, airplane, and down. Now we're going to switch this just slightly. Arms come up, overhead, right arm comes down, and back up. Left arm comes down, back up. All the way down to the start. Same thing. Inhale up, arms come up overhead, right arm down, left arm down, and all the way back. Let's do 2 more like that. Up overhead, right arm, left arm, down. 1 more. Arms overhead, right arm, left arm, and down. Good. Come back into child's pose for just a sec. Release through any tension that you have. These exercises, of course, aren't always the most pleasant because I feel like a lot of times we focus on the abs as opposed to the back. The back is still your core. The back is still needing strength. And a lot of times we think if we work the back, we are going to hurt ourselves. But if we overwork the stomach, then it's like good and it's a challenge. So I just want you to kind of challenge your thoughts about working your back. You need to work your back too. You don't want to make yourself injured or hurt, but those muscles need attention just as much as the front of our bodies do too. Okay, so moving back into some little lifts here. If you think about this, we're at 90 degrees basically. This is arabesque. If you were standing up, this is what we're going to be doing here is exactly what you would be doing if you're doing arabesque. So I want you to think about keeping your hips stable, and we're just going to do pulses. 9, 8, 7. You can have your head down if you want. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a little rest here, and then we're going to do both legs. You can either have your heels together in like a really tight first if you want, or you can be in a little bit wider second, whatever works for you. Head is down. We're just going to do 10 again with both legs. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Length is what you're shooting for. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Taking a small break. We're going to add the upper body now. So arms are just going to come straight out in front of you like little blades, and you can almost use those hands if you need to lift up. We're going to come for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Press back, child's pose. Take a little break. Good. On your way back down, you're going to grab your band again. And we're just going to come all the way back down again. We're going to go basically from like a Superman arms out in front of you up here to an airplane arm. So lengthening through the legs, pressing down, lifting up here, Superman, airplane. Superman, airplane. In the Superman, I'm still slightly lifted. In the airplane, I'm doing a little bit more extension. Of course, at this point, if you want to do some more extension, if you have a much higher, more flexible back than I do, go for it. What I want you to keep in mind, though, is staying even in the hips and also not just dumping into the lower back. Use your upper back. You have some support here with the band. 2 more. And 2. Whew. Good. Stretch back, child's pose. All right. Okay. The next thing we're going to move on to, we're coming in the home stretch here. I know there's a lot of exercises for the back, but if you incorporate this either into your daily or a few times weekly routine, your back will get stronger. You'll have a better extension because you'll be able to lift up your back. Okay, we're just going to do some little pulses here on all fours. What I want you to think about is keeping the core engaged, hips stay even, and we're going to bring the right leg out, and we're just doing small pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And switching to the left side, 4, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Coming back to the right side, we're going to do really slow leg lifts. keeping the hips nice and still. Just tapping the ground. 3, 4, abs are engaged. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. Hips are stable. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, go ahead and tuck the toes, and you're going to come into a downward dog position. Just walking through the feet here, walking from side to side. It'll give you a little bit of relief in the back, but also just working through the feet because we really haven't touched those feet too much in this particular class. What I want you to do now is come up with the right leg up to the ceiling. You can open up through the hip and bend the knee. So keeping the chest square, the shoulders as square as you can. We're going to come up into a little three-legged dog here, and we're going to bend forward into a plank, right elbow to right knee. Come back up. And again, right elbow to right knee. Back up. Good. Last one there. Come back up into your split and bring that leg down. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So left leg comes up, knee can bend, open through the hip, just stretch here. Keeping the shoulders square as much as you can. Good, come back into that three-legged dog. And plank, exhale, left elbow to left knee, and back up. And exhale forward. And back up. And last one, holding your little split here. Good, bring that leg down. And I just want you to walk to your hands. Good. Now, bending at the knees here, let's just start to stretch out through the lower back. Good, and go ahead and come into a nice wide squat. You can turn your toes out if you need to. Always feels really nice. Shifting from side to side, and then we're just gonna hold in the center here. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. If you feel like you have a heel that's not coming down, you can still continue to do this. Because of my scoliosis, I always have one heel that just does not want to go down. Good, but when you feel settled, just settle into this large squat here. Good. Stretching up. Good job, guys. Now just come into a nice big diamond shape kind of butterfly here. So I want you to, yes, you're going to be opening through the hips here, but I want you to really release through the lower back, any tension you have. I know we want to, as much as we can, use the muscles in the thoracic spine to pull us up, to help us with our back strength and arabesque and all of that, but sometimes the lower back does really get a lot of work in that. So I just want you to lean forward and relax here. Deep breath in and exhale. And again, in and exhale. And rolling all the way up. Shoulders rolling back. Coming to a seated position here. At this point, you can go ahead and stretch. You're nice and warm. You can head into whatever exercises you want to do, head into your class, knowing that you've really worked your back and strength. You feel nice and tall at this point and really, really energized and alive. Okay, so that is this class. I hope that these exercises are something that you can incorporate into your weekly routine to start getting more strength and flexibility into your back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.